And really score the basketball, and why not let them tip off against one another. Michigan, Florida Gulf Coast. Here we go from the Convocation Center in San Antonio. Your starting lineups for this matchup brought to you by Capital One. For Florida Gulf Coast, who will start off with a three. That's Emma List. They can all shoot the three. We told you about Bell, Blair, TK Morehouse, the point guard, and Tyra Cox rounding out the starting five. For the Michigan Wolverines, one big change here. Their starting point guard, Amy Dilk, did not make the trip to San Antonio, so Danielle Roush getting just her third start of the season. A lot of experience around her, though, with both Browns and Johnson and Hillman.
And Jen, how about Haley Brown answering from Michigan? If you can make threes, I can make them too. She leads the team with 25 made threes on the season. Michigan does not need to get into a three-point shooting contest with this team, though. They still have to play their game.
Akienreh Johnson did a great job getting to the basket there. Just missed the easy one. A senior out of Toledo, Ohio for the Wolverines. Kim Barnes-Arico has done such a great job with this Michigan program, getting them to a 6 seed for the first time in program history. A couple of firsts for this program on the year. In fact, reached their highest ranking in school history, up to number 11 earlier this season. They had their best start in school history, 10-0. And they have that player right there, their first ever All-American, Naz Hillman. Here you get to see Coach Barnes-Arico, and what a great conversation we had with her yesterday, just about leading her team through this very difficult year. They had those 10 games postponed or canceled. They had the athletic department shut down in late January that they had to go through. They've been without some of their top players. And once again, Kelly, here we go. They do not have their entire team healthy and available for this game, as they're without Amy Dilk.
That's pretty par for the course for Michigan this season. They've had a lot of different injuries. Their second leading scorer, Leah Brown, was out for 39 days with COVID protocol. So they really haven't had their whole team together at all this season, Jen. But the one constant for Michigan has been Naz Hillman, who already is at the free throw line. Keep an eye on how Florida Gulf Coast tries to defend her today. It's going to take all hands on deck to slow down Naz Hillman.
Yeah, not many have been able to do that. Alyssa Blair, her three is off the mark. Johnson takes the three and makes it for Michigan.
How about Michigan raining threes, taking Florida Gulf Coast hashtag and applying it to themselves? This is a team that only shoots 30% from beyond the arc, but they're getting it done early.
Knocked a couple down in this 8-0 run. Has Michigan out in front. TK Morehouse trying to get it over to Kirsten Bell, player who has some experience going up against the Big Ten. Bell, a transfer from Ohio State, where she played her freshman year, was a member of the Big Ten all-freshman team. And what a get she was for Carl Smesko. He started this program at Florida Gulf Coast from scratch in 2001 and has simply made it one of the winningest programs in the country. You have to remember, this is just their 10th season that they have been postseason eligible as a full Division I team. They dominate the ASUN. They make it to the NCAA tournament, and now trying to make some more noise here in March.
It's truly incredible what he has built at Florida Gulf Coast. And, you know, some coaches, we say, oh, they built that program from scratch. No, no, no. Carl Smesko built this program from scratch, leading them from D2 into D1, and what he's done there with the Eagles. Very impressive work.
Bell on pace to really be not only the highest profile recruit. I mean, she's a McDonald's All-American out of the state of Ohio. Was called Chebron, or Shebron, depending on how you want to go there, in high school. And Hillman has her first field goal. Played at Ohio State, as I said, and now comes and has a chance to just be one of the best ever to play at Florida Gulf Coast.
The Eagles are trying to guard Hillman with Emma List. They have not used Kirsten Bell down low, I think, to try to avoid getting Bell into foul trouble, but I wonder if Florida Gulf Coast is going to have to audible here and find a way to get Bell on Hillman, because Bell is the best athlete Florida Gulf Coast has, but I know they don't want to get her in foul trouble, but Hillman so far is just putting on a clinic.
Yeah, she continues to get looks like that. It's going to be a long, long day for Florida Gulf Coast. TK Morehouse, I see you at 5'3", grabbing the offensive rebound. She gets it to Bell, and then Hillman says,
This superstar matchup, it has delivered already. Naz Hillman swats that thing, gets a piece of it. You see the emotion. This is the NCAA tournament, Jen. Naz Hillman bringing the emotion early in this game.
Don't forget just how long we have all waited to get here as Bell curls around, gets her first field goal of the game.
Kirsten Bell went right back at the hoop. I love that from Bell. Her mindset, her tenacity, she is not afraid of anyone.
Leah Brown gets to the basket. She's been playing with a ton of confidence. You mentioned all that time, Kelly, that she was out nearly 40 days earlier this season. They need her in rhythm.
Leah Brown is a game changer for Michigan. It enables Michigan to put someone else out there that can really score the ball, put the ball on the deck, and take some attention away from Naz Hillman. But wow, incredible block by Bell. I was about to say, Jen, help side has to be there. Bell has to be lower. But she is such a good athlete that even though she wasn't in perfect help side position here, she recovers and gets a block of her own.
So if you're keeping the individual tally between our two superstars, it's a 1 free throw advantage to Hillman so far. They each have a block against one another.
And these two knew each other. They've known each other for a very long time. Both from Ohio. Naz Hillman said in her media availability yesterday that she's known about Bell for a very long time. So these two super familiar, and it may mean a little more for Kirsten Bell, who was at Ohio State. We know how much anybody involved with Ohio State likes to beat Michigan and vice versa.
No question. Carl Smesko, by the way, also from Ohio. Might have a little bit of that in him as well, as Akienreh Johnson now has 4 points in the game for the Wolverines. Big Ten all-defensive team selection this year for Michigan. Morehouse, the transfer, goes right around the defense. She came out of Western Nebraska Community College, her first year with the Eagles, and boy, has she been good.
She's only 5'3", but she has one of the quickest first steps in the entire country. She is lethal with that first step, and in that situation, she got right past her defender. The Eagles have to get Morehouse involved. It can't be all Bell. Morehouse has to do some things offensively, so that was a very good sign for FGCU.
Morehouse on the break is fouled. She'll be headed to the free throw line. Was a first-team All-American in junior college. Averaged 21 points per game last year and has now come in averaging nearly 18 a game for Florida Gulf Coast.
And Coach Smesko told us that coming out of high school, she was under-recruited mainly because she's 5'3". You know, you see that size, and some coaches aren't willing to take the risk. So she went to junior college, proved herself there. And Coach said even coming out of junior college, when she was an All-American, schools wouldn't take the risk on her. But they saw just how quick she was and how special she was, and it's paying off for Florida Gulf Coast.
Bell takes it away, hands it off to Morehouse. They've been the dynamic duo for this Florida Gulf Coast team. And List eventually is fouled on the possession.
When you can jump like TK Morehouse, you can make those decisions in the air without knowing what you're going to do once you leave the floor. She was trying to shoot that ball but didn't have an angle, found a way to get a pass to her teammate. That's just an incredible display of athleticism from TK Morehouse.
List misses on her first free throw. This is her second year with the program. Told you Morehouse also a transfer. I mean, Florida Gulf Coast had to reload coming into this season. They lost 90% of their scoring from last season, and through a couple of transfers like Bell and Morehouse, plus some players like List and Tyra Cox, who have stepped up now that they're getting more minutes this year for the team, they've not missed a beat.
With all these newcomers, well, we know FGCU, they reload. They're going to be good every year, but this was a COVID offseason, so it's even more impressive. They were able to not miss a beat with such a limited offseason.
One offensive rebound kept that possession alive for Michigan, but now Morehouse just beats everybody, couldn't finish at the rim. Tell you what, the smaller the player, the bigger the chip on the shoulder, and she's been fun to watch early. Hillman over 3 players, no problem.
Naz Hillman also has a chip on her shoulder. She's trying to prove that she is the best player in the country. And keep an eye on how she positions herself down low. She does her work early. She always is using her body to get good position. She never, ever takes a play off.
And she can't afford to, not with all that Michigan has been through to get here this season. We'll tell you about it when we come back.
You never want to say this team had the toughest road during COVID, right, Jim? Because everyone has had to face adversity. But Michigan not having Leah Brown for so long, I feel like they fell off the national radar a little bit. One could argue they're underseeded as a 6th seed. It's their best seed in school history, but I think they're more talented than that. And then one could argue Florida Gulf Coast is underseeded just because they're in the A-Sun, but this is a team that has won 25 straight games and has just dominated their league. So for so many reasons, this is such an exciting matchup.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we were curious because both of these teams are ranked in the AP Top 25 at the end of the regular season. And this is the only first-round matchup in either the men's or women's NCAA tournaments this year that features 2 top 25 teams in the first game. That tells you something about the quality of these 2 teams.
Not sure how we got this game, Jen, but we will gladly take it. Gladly.
Not asking that question. 5-point lead for Michigan so far. The Wolverines shooting 50% from the floor, 5 of 10. Florida Gulf Coast has hit just 1 3. They've taken 5. That is certainly their MO. 3 points in the game for their leading scorer, Kirsten Bell, who's short on that 3-point attempt.
Michigan's done a good job of trying to limit Florida Gulf Coast 3-point attempts. They are going to get 3s up, but Michigan is trying to run them off the 3-point line, forcing them to shoot in the mid-range. If you look at the Eagles, if you take a deep dive into their analytics, Jen, they've taken something like 12 mid-range shots all season. It's absolutely crazy. They want 3s and they want layups.
Shot clock running down, and Leah Brown takes the shot and is fouled just before that shot clock buzzer had a chance to go off.
That possession, FGCU was all over Naz Hillman. Didn't let her get the ball, but Leah Brown took over and said, I can create my own shot. This is a player that is extremely talented, a Nebraska transfer, 2nd team All Big Ten. She's had 14 double-figure games. She was out for so long, but she is a pure scorer. Not just a shooter, a scorer. She can get her shot anywhere on the floor.
Those 2 free throws make it a 7-point lead for Michigan. It ties for their largest lead of the game so far. And you figure if Florida Gulf Coast is going to get into this, they're going to have to start knocking down some triples. Just let those numbers sink in for a minute, because every single one of them leads the country.
Michigan is so versatile. They're switching every screen. Not many teams can do that, but because they have Akienreh Johnson, who's playing really good ball, and they have Naz Hillman, who's so versatile, they're able to switch every screen. That is giving the Eagles some issues.
And then Michigan gets it down the floor in a hurry. They get some points in transition, up the lead to 9.
The other thing that's really hurting FGCU is Michigan is making shots. There's not a lot of misses. So Florida Gulf Coast is not getting those long rebounds and getting out in transition. When you make shots, you can really slow down the Eagles because they have to set up in the half court. Now, sometimes in the half court, TK Morehouse is just going to make you pay.
5 points in the game for Morehouse. 3, and the team shooting the 3 better right now is the Michigan Wolverines.
Maddie Nolan knocks it down. That was such a great pass. Right in her shooting pocket. She caught it, went straight up, nothing but net.
I know you, Kelly, as a 3-point aficionado, appreciate that when you get that pass right where you want it.
It's so important. And, Jen, who would have thought? Michigan has 3 made threes. Florida Gulf Coast has 1. What a crazy start to this game. Very unexpected.
Offensive foul there on Leah Brown. That's her second personal.
Look at that first step. That's just not fair. That is just not fair from TK Morehouse. So quick. Great pass by Akienreh Johnson right in the shooting pocket. Maddie Nolan pointing to her teammate saying thank you for that beautiful pass.
Maddie Nolan, sophomore, coming in off the bench, adding some scoring punch for Michigan. A team without their starting point guard, junior Amy Dilk, did not make the trip to San Antonio. Found that out this morning. 3-point up and good. Aaliyah Stanley, welcome into the game.
That's great defense. That's just better offense from Florida Gulf Coast. Every single player on the floor can shoot the three at any time.
Akienreh Johnson showing off some experience there. She made that one look easy. List, offensive foul. The two number 32s, and then Emily Kaiser, number 33 for Michigan, able to draw the charge that time. Leah Brown, 32, was called for the offensive foul for Michigan a few moments ago. This time it's number 32, Emma List, and that is all of the 32s I'm going to mention at the moment. Well done by Kaiser off the bench.
Kirsten Bell was not in the game, and she's promptly been subbed back in. You could tell Florida Gulf Coast, they looked a little lost on that last half-court offensive possession without Kirsten Bell to get the ball to when the shot clock was winding down.
Under 10 for the Wolverines on the shot clock. Kick it out, get the three. It's short, and then it'll stay with Michigan. A couple of Florida Gulf Coast players there, but Maddie Nolan did a good job to keep possession for her team.
That was an excellent defensive effort from the Eagles, and then they give up, not necessarily an offensive rebound, but a dead ball situation, a team rebound, I would say, for Michigan. And Michigan gets the ball back. It's really tough to see that for Coach Smesko when you play such good defense and you're not able to grab that rebound. Reminder, Michigan, one of the best rebounding teams in the entire country, plus 11.6 in the rebounding margin. That's what they do. They clean the glass, and they've done a good job of that so far.
Wolverines up 9, looking to add to that. Johnson around and out.
The Eagles need a bucket in this last possession. This is not rocket science, Jen, but I would get the ball to Kirsten Bell, if possible.
No points in over 6 minutes for Bell, their leading scorer. Cox says, nah, I'm going to take it. Hey, that was a mid-range, Kelly Gramlich.
Okay, Tyra Cox. Trying to prove me wrong. That was impressive.
Couple more points for Florida Gulf Coast. That he has earned himself a place on a pretty prestigious list in terms of winning percentage. The other big-name coaches that he is right up there with for what he has done in building up this Florida Gulf Coast program.
Over the last 14 years, this program is 217-17 in the ASUN. Those numbers, it's just absolutely incredible, the dominance they have in that league.
Now that is a matchup I know you've been wanting to see. You got it that time. You had Bell defending Hillman. She had a block in there, and eventually the Eagles get the possession. There's some of those names that I mentioned. Coach Smesko's in good company.
And how about this, Jen? The first coach, the second coach, the third coach, Ariema Mulkey Smesko, all in this Riverwalk region.
I mean, we told you. You want scoring. You've come to the right place. Want wins? This region's going to bring it. UConn, the 1 seed. Baylor, the 2 seed in the Riverwalk. Just
Aaliyah
6
Stanley
points so far for Hillman.
Sorry there, Jen. Aaliyah Stanley has been a spark off the bench so far. They call her the microwave. She comes off the bench. She heats up very quickly. Just hit a 3 out of that quarter break. And you'll notice throughout this game, Florida Gulf Coast gets all their energy and all their momentum from making threes. And I think we've seen a little bit of a momentum shift so far because of that three coming out of the quarter break.
4-point game as Michigan looks to get it into their All-American inside, Naz Hillman.
So it seems what the Eagles are trying to do here, Jen, is they're going to throw a bunch of different bodies at her to guard her as the primary defender, and then they're going to try to bring Kirsten Bell in on help side because Bell is so athletic she can block shots. But you don't want Bell to guard her as the primary defender because you can't really risk foul trouble. So I like that plan so far. Hillman is going to get hers. It's just a matter of making sure other players don't hurt you, like Emily Kaiser right there for Michigan.
Yep, Kaiser, a player that only averages 2.5 points per game, junior from Noblesville, Indiana. No Hillman on the floor at the moment.
Keep an eye on how far up Johnson is on Bell, forcing her to drive, forcing her to attack the basket. They'll take that. Anything that's not a three is good news, I believe, for Michigan defensively. She's way up there. She's saying, all right, you drive. I'm going to lead you into my help side, but I am not going to give Kirsten Bell an open three. 79 made threes on the season. Force her to take a two.
She got the two to go that time and had some contact. She was fouled by Kaiser. I think there might have been a little bit of relief there, Kelly, on Kirsten's face after she saw the way that foul call was going to go. Just wanted to make sure it was not going to be an offense. And she has one personal foul so far in this game.
Exactly right. And that's something Michigan's going to try to do as well. If you can force her off the three-point line, you have the added bonus of possibly drawing charges on her, getting her in foul trouble. The last thing Michigan wants is to let Bell get hot from three.
Her three-point play, the old-fashioned way, brings the Eagles within three. Still playing without Hillman on the floor. Shot from Roush, too strong. But an offensive rebound.
Offensive rebounding, exactly right. Getting those second possessions and really just keeping the ball out of Florida Gulf Coast's hands so they can't get hot from three on the other end.
Shot clock winding down. Nice little shot fake used to full advantage by Haley Brown.
Okay, Haley Brown. We see the shooters coming alive for Michigan.
Couple of triples now for Haley Brown, senior out of Ontario, Canada, and a drive from Tyra Cox.
And that's what the 5-out does for you. Kaiser felt like she just couldn't help. There was a wide open driving lane. When you have shooters all around the perimeter, it makes your defense really hesitant to help because they know if they help, you're going to kick out to a shooter and she's going to hit a three. So that's what makes Florida Gulf Coast's offense go. You spread it out and you get all those driving lanes for Morehouse.
Meanwhile, on this end, it's been really hard for Michigan to get a good look without Hillman on the floor. They're deep in the shot clock again. Roush will force up the three, but misses everything.
Both teams have struggled when their stars have not been on the floor, Jen. So we'll see how long Hillman takes a breather on that bench. She's actually standing up, if you can see her in the bottom part of the screen. She's not really taking a breather. Did I read your mind, Jen? Were you about to ask me about that?
Yes, I was wondering if you were surprised that Hillman was not on the floor. I mean, Michigan's still in the lead, obviously, but she's on the bench and just having to support her team from there. She does have those two personal fouls, so Kim Barnes-Arico, I'm sure, trying to be careful.
This is a fine time, I think, to get her a breather. If I'm Coach Arico, I'm saying, Naz, can you sit down, please? Can you get a little rest? I'm trying to make you rest, and you're standing up. What is that? We're going to need you for the whole second half. I would imagine after the next media timeout, perhaps, that's when Naz Hillman goes back in the game, but she does have to be careful with those two fouls.
Meanwhile, mouse in the house is a good thing in this instance. TK Morehouse takes it. That is her third made field goal, 7th point of the game for the 5'3" junior.
I can't say it enough. Her quickness, her speed. The other player that comes to mind with this kind of quickness and this kind of first step is Dana Evans, who I think is one of the quickest players in the country. The point guard for Louisville, who's in the National Player of the Year discussion, ACC Player of the Year. Evans has a few more inches on Morehouse, but they are very similar with how they can get to the basket and how they can finish. It's very difficult for an undersized guard. Yes, most likely she can get past her defender, but can she finish inside amongst the trees? And Morehouse has done an excellent job of doing that.
Can see why she has been such a great addition to this Florida Gulf Coast team this year. And Kim Barnes-Arico was well aware of what this pint-sized point guard could do. So she's lightning quick. She knew they were going to have to be on their toes to defend her. Hey, she can rebound, too.
I'm trying to find the tweet, Jen. I think her name is Dana. She called her Muggsy Morehouse on Twitter. I wanted to give her credit. I think that is an excellent nickname for TK Morehouse.
We'll reference the old Muggsy Bogues, of course, like it. Turnover, a little bit of confusion by Michigan. They took it away, and Bell says, thanks very much, let's tie this thing up.
That's just too easy for Kirsten Bell. You have to make offense hard for her. You have to make sure every shot she gets is difficult, and that kind of shot way too easy for a scorer like Kirsten Bell.
12-5 run for the Eagles as Roush is fouled. Great game going on in the Riverwalk region. We are all tied at 29 between Michigan and Florida Gulf. Michigan fans right now, Kelly, maybe just a little nervous. They don't like seeing their player of the year on the bench, and Florida Gulf Coast has taken advantage. A 9-6 run since Hillman went to the bench at the 8:41 mark of the quarter.
She has those 2 fouls. I thought perhaps she would come in after the media timeout, but Coach Barnes-Arico keeping her on the bench, which is wise. We'll see if she comes back in before halftime. I think she would, perhaps the 2-minute mark, something like that. I'm not sure you can go the next 5 minutes without Naz Hillman on the floor.
Florida Gulf Coast has not led since they hit the first 3 of the game, and it was 3-0. They did tie it, but Roush gave the lead back, and then Cox says, let's even it up again.
Threes and layups, and if you close out on us too much on the three-point line, if you're trying to run us off the line, well, we're athletic enough to get to the rim. That is Florida Gulf Coast's offensive mindset in a nutshell, and on plays like that, it works beautifully.
Meanwhile, Michigan trying to prove they can win without Naz Hillman on the floor. She's cheering from the sideline, lifting everybody up, loving that triple from Nolan.
Here's an example of what we were just talking about. You run, you try to run them off the three-point line, I'll go right past you, says Tyra Cox, and a really good finish. And then on the other end, we're talking about the Eagles' three-point shooting. How about Michigan? Maddie Nolan knocks it down. The Wolverines have hit 5 threes so far in this first half. And I love that from Naz, Jen. Some stars, some players would be pouting on the bench. They have 2 fouls. They're not in there able to get their numbers. But Naz Hillman doesn't care. She just wants to win. And Coach Barnes-Arico has told us so many times what a great leader Naz Hillman is. And you can see it in the little things like that.
No question. Love to see that on the bench. And that is exactly the kind of person that Coach Barnes-Arico said Naz Hillman is for this program. Bell frustrated with herself, too strong, knew she had herself a good look. Nolan has stepped up, played some big minutes off the bench for Michigan. Nice moves on the interior. Haley Brown adds 2 more.
Great move by Haley Brown. A nice up and under. And Michigan's offense is set to get post looks. That's what they want. So even when Hillman isn't in there, they're going to throw the ball inside. And that was excellent execution by Brown.
Lead back to 5 for the Wolverines, who are out shooting the Eagles from 3 in this game so far. Michigan 5 of 11. Florida Gulf Coast 3 of 12 from downtown.
The Eagles are in this game really because of turnovers. They have 12 points off of Michigan's 7 turnovers. That has been the difference maker. They've been able to get those turnovers and get out in transition. Michigan has not taken very good care of the ball so far in this first half.
5 on the shot clock. Good defense being played by the Eagles. Kaiser will turn around and take it. Rolls in off the front of the rim.
I love seeing some of these less heralded players, Jen, Some might call them role players, but in the basketball world, that is a good term. Get their moment and be able to be very effective offensively with Naz Hillman on the bench. Sometimes you put in your backup posts, and they can't score the ball like these Michigan posts have done.
Do you not love the emotion of March? I mean, this NCAA tournament,
electric players in this tournament, and of course she's in the Riverwalk because that's where all the scorers are, Jen, in the Riverwalk region. I'm excited to watch her. I'm not rooting for any teams, but I am rooting to see Caitlin Clark stay in this tournament so I can keep watching her shoot the ball.
She started off strong, 23 points for Iowa in their win earlier today. Liz Kitley also had 23 points in a win for Virginia Tech. Both of those teams advancing in this Riverwalk region.
Jen, to me in this first half, Michigan's maturity has been evident. They have been able to withstand some Florida Gulf Coast runs. They've been able to withstand some three-pointers. They don't have Naz Hillman for most of this second quarter. Their older post players have stepped up. This is just a mature team that has been able to be very level throughout this first half.
Yeah, that was one of the strengths that Kim Barnes-Arico told us she felt she had as an advantage coming into this tournament. They have shown it. Bell finally gets some points for Florida Gulf Coast. They got over 3 minutes without a bucket.
And part of what Bell just did there is why she is a future pro, because she can score the ball and she can shoot the three, but she uses her size really well. She's 6'1". She averages over 10 rebounds per game. Get her the ball back to the basket. 3 dribbles, left hand, that might have been the right hand, left/right hand. She gets it done. Her offensive game is so complete. She can do absolutely everything on the floor. She's not just a shooter. She can be physical inside. She can rebound. And there's no doubt in my mind she's a future pro.
Coach Mesko saying he just likes to give her a lot of freedom on the floor because he could tell quickly when he first had her into practice how smart she was, and he wanted to take advantage of that.
The best coaching is good recruiting. If you can get Kirsten Bell on your team, then yeah, I'd give her a lot of freedom too, Jen.
5-point lead for Michigan. Under 10 in the shot clock again. Nolan had the offensive foul last time down the floor for the Wolverines. And they keep fighting. That is Akienreh Johnson getting in there and showing you why Michigan is such a good rebounding team.
Akienreh Johnson, graduate, 5th-year senior, one of the best leaders on this team. Look at the hustle. Look at the fight. And what's biggest about that play, Jen, they didn't get the offensive rebound. It was a jump ball possession arrow, Florida Gulf Coast. But they kept the Eagles out of transition. That is first and foremost. Florida Gulf Coast loves to get three-pointers in transition. A 3 coming the other way would have changed this game going into halftime, but Michigan finds a way to slow the Eagles down, which is really what they've done this whole first half.
Morehouse knocks one in before the first half clock can expire and gives us a 2-point game in the Riverwalk region.
So even when you do slow them down a little bit, they are such good shooters. That Moore on this team, one of the leaders that Coach Barnes-Arico emphasized with us when we talked to her before the game. And she stepped up big time. Without Naz Hillman on the floor, she was able to get more looks, and she converted those looks. But, wow, they are going to call Naz Hillman for that foul. That is incredible. Let's take another look. Naz Hillman. Oh, that's a tough one, Jen. That's a tough one. Look, Naz Hillman is one of the strongest athletes in the game. If she really made, I believe that was Emma List, if she really made Emma List fly backwards like that, okay, I understand. But part of it is just, that's Naz Hillman trying to get position. That's what she does. That is an incredibly difficult call for Michigan at the beginning of this third quarter.
Third personal foul on Hillman. She sat for the final 8 minutes and 41 seconds of the first half after she picked up her second personal foul. So now, if you're Kim Barnes-Arico, what do?
Well, she hasn't taken her out yet, Jen. I think you leave her in at this point and maybe take her out in the next couple minutes, but just to yank her right after that halftime, it would completely mess up her rhythm. And I know Barnes-Arico trusts Naz Hillman more than pretty much any player she's ever coached. So you're seeing that trust right now, the fact that Hillman is still on the floor. She has to be incredibly smart in this third quarter.
Three from the corner won't go for Emma List, who was the best three-point shooter for the Eagles in the first half. She knocked down a couple of attempts.
On the flip side, though, Jen, Florida Gulf Coast has to be acutely aware of this. They have to go at her at every single chance they can. If they get a fourth foul on Naz Hillman in this third quarter, this game completely changes.
Florida Gulf Coast, as Maria Taylor mentioned at halftime, coming into this game with a 25-game winning streak. That is the longest active streak in the country. They rolled through their conference regular season and tournament, much like TK Morehouse just rolled through the paint on that possession.
She is so quick. Muggsy Morehouse, she's back, Jen. She had a great first half, 10 points. Didn't talk about her as much because Kirsten Bell was excellent, but Morehouse is the second part of that 1-2 punch for Florida Gulf Coast. Even if Bell has a great game, Morehouse has to bring it offensively as well, and she has done that so far today. Let's take another look at this. That first step, oh man, just gets right past Akienreh Johnson. Exactly. See ya. You're right behind me. I'm gone.
In the fun player to watch category, she's got to be an early leader. We've had some big-time scoring performances, especially in this Riverwalk region, as we knew that we would. But in terms of fun, I'm going to give her some credit, too. And, hey, you know what, Bell? Yes, you're fun to watch, too. 14 now for Kirsten Bell. And the Eagles take their first lead since they hit their first three, and it was 3-0.
Bell and Morehouse with 26 of the Eagles' points. That is what they do. Such a dynamic duo.
Let me just see who this foul is against. Looks like it's against Bell. Actually, it's on List. Emma List, and that is her fourth personal for Florida Gulf Coast. Hillman trying to go to work inside. Johnson, though, follows it up.
So many defenders around Hillman inside. That's going to leave some open weak side rebounds, and Akienreh Johnson took advantage of that. Excellent rebound and put back.
That dribble got a little away from Bell. Eagles pick it back up. Cox into the paint. And then Johnson just takes it away. All defensive team selection in the Big Ten this season. Hillman wanted it to pass a little too deep. She makes it good anyway.
Here's what's so special about Naz Hillman. She catches anything. You even said it, Jen. That pass a little too deep. It doesn't affect Naz Hillman. Your average post player does not catch that ball. But Coach Arico tells us Naz Hillman's hands are just incredibly massive. And she finds a way to get that ball. You can throw the ball anywhere around her. It's like she has those go-go gadget arms. She just goes and grabs it, Jen. Nothing gets past her.
Third generation women's basketball player in an incredibly elite basketball family. She won the 8th high school state championship in the state of Ohio in her family back when she was growing up in Cleveland. And now the ball finally will change hands. But you don't often see this on the women's side, that you get the third generation. There's mom, Nishima. She played both professionally and at Vanderbilt. Was an Ohio Miss Basketball in high school. Grandmother, Gail, played at Cleveland State. And if you know Gail, you know she's out there somewhere yelling, rebound.
And I love that we highlighted this because you're right, Jen, with how young the women's game is relative to the men's. You don't see a lot of third generation, but you're starting to see more of it. You're starting to see grandmas, then moms, then daughters having played basketball, and it just shows the continued growth of our game. And can we talk about the jean jacket with the basketball buttons.
Yes.
That is one of the coolest jean jackets I've ever seen. Quentin Hillsman somewhere is viewing that and saying he has to get his hands on that jacket.
Quentin Hillsman, the sartorially splendid head coach of the Syracuse women's basketball team. I love when Naz talked about the relationship with her mom in a media availability earlier this week, and she said, you know, she certainly has a wonderful relationship. She talks to her family every day, and her mom supports her and gives her tips, things to think about, but she's also pretty competitive, and she said, I'm kind of kicking my mom's butt right now when it comes to college awards. She wants to continue that. I mean, you know, they're going to talk some trash as well as support one another.
Without a doubt. And Coach Barnes-Arico also told us the emphasis in the Hillman family is on basketball, as Hillman just continues to grab rebounds. Misses a putback there. The emphasis is on basketball, but also education. Her mom went to Vanderbilt. She is at Michigan. She had a cousin play basketball in North Carolina. Another family member play at Virginia. It's not just about the basketball. It's also about the education. And Coach Barnes-Arico told us, look, I say this jokingly, but I don't say it jokingly. She says Naz Hillman for president. That's what she thinks Naz Hillman can do in her life, and she's been such an incredible leader and ambassador for the University of Michigan.
8-0 run by the Wolverines, who seem to always do this when Florida Gulf Coast has gotten close. Oh my goodness, dial up the highlight reel for TK Morehouse.
She is unbelievable. I have never seen a guard of that size with that finishing ability. Most of the time, you have that quick first step. You can get there and hit a mid-range, but she never settles for the mid-range. She goes right to the basket and challenges all of these bigger players and scores.
Leah Brown with her 8th point of the quarter for Michigan, and she was fouled on the play. Going on in this game, both in the stands with some of the good fashion that we're seeing, and on the floor, as this quarter has belonged to Leah Brown for Michigan.
That is an excellent play out of a timeout. Throw it up to Leah Brown. Let her go get it. The defense thinks you're going to run some elaborate set, but just throw the ball up. And what's been so great about this game is anytime we feel like Michigan is going to pull away, Florida Gulf Coast comes back and answers. They keep hanging around.
As a reminder, Florida Gulf Coast, the top three-point shooting team in the nation. They took over 1,000 three-pointers this season for the 6th consecutive year. They lead the nation in both three-pointers made and three-pointers attempted. They haven't quite gotten it rolling in this game, but when Bell knocks it down, it lets you know what they're capable of.
That's a defensive mistake from Michigan, a lack of communication as to who was going to pick up Kirsten Bell. And if you give her a little bit of daylight, Jen, it's going in. It's almost automatic for Bell.
Oh, I'm going to have to throw out a what can Brown do for you, because she's doing it all for Big Blue right now.
She's taken over. She has taken over this third quarter. Leah Brown, she has been absolutely tremendous. 12 points in this third quarter alone.
Well, Kelly, she was one of the players that I know you were really focused in on for this game as kind of that X factor for Michigan.
Exactly, and she was out for a long portion of this season due to COVID protocols, and that's when Michigan struggled a little bit. But Naz Hillman is such a force inside. Leah Brown gives them that wing player that can shoot it, that can attack. And so you don't feel comfortable truly doubling Hillman every play, because Leah Brown is going to make you pay just like she did there. I am so excited for her that she's getting this recognition, because when we talk about Michigan, we talk about Naz Hillman. But Leah Brown is one of the best players in the Big Ten, and she's showing it today.
Brown herself has equaled the point production for Florida Gulf Coast as a team in this quarter, each with 14.
Michigan has to know where Kirsten Bell is. Bell is just keeping Florida Gulf Coast in this game. But how about Leah Brown? Back and forth, 2 scorers just going at it. This has been a fun one, Jen.
Michigan said they came into this tournament really still kind of finding themselves a little bit. Their last game was a loss in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament to Northwestern. But when they were playing well at the start of the season, it was Naz Hillman and Leah Brown running the show. Brown showing why she's a part of that dynamic duo.
And here's why I say Michigan is underseeded, because they didn't have this player for 39 days. She transforms them. She is just doing so much for them offensively and makes them so potent offensively with how she can score the ball.
Well, don't forget about Kirsten Bell now either, because she now has 12 points in the quarter for Florida Gulf Coast. Meanwhile, Michigan, led by Leah Brown, shooting 67% in this quarter. Why not have another one?
Go ahead and take over. Take over the basketball game. Knox Hillman's been in foul trouble. Who cares? Leah Brown is showing why she was on the All-Big Ten team and why Michigan is a completely different team when she's on the floor.
So she drives at Kirsten Bell, who picked up her second personal foul. And then the cherry on top, take a bow, Leah Brown, for the work you have done in this quarter. 23 points in the game. 19 of those have come since halftime.
This is a Klay Thompson quarter. I know Klay had an insane amount of points, more than 19, but this is a quarter where you look at the box score and your eyes pop out of your head. 19 points, 9 of 10 from the floor. We still have 2 minutes left in this quarter. I know she's on the bench, but this performance has just been incredible.
Will it be the defining performance, perhaps, for Michigan in this game? We'll see. The Wolverines trying to move on to the second round. They now know they will face the Tennessee Lady Vols in the Riverwalk region. Whoever comes out of this game, that will be their next opponent in round 2. Foul on the floor by Emma List. If that was List, that's going to be number 5. So she's going to have to leave the game.
That's right, and the Eagles have done a good job of keeping Kirsten Bell away from a player like Hillman and even Leah Brown. But the consequence of that is that some of these other post players have had to take the brunt of those fouls. And so Emma List, a very quick exit. We're not even to the fourth quarter, and she is already out of the game.
Akienreh Johnson at the free throw line for Michigan. Misses the first. It is not often that you see a player foul out before you get to the fourth quarter. And Emma List, a redshirt junior, averages over 7 points per game for the Eagles. So that's going to be an interesting development as this one goes along. This quarter, though, has belonged to Leah Brown and Michigan. The Wolverines.
That screen in time. When they try to go over, she takes 2 dribbles and pulls up. If they start going under, she's going to hit threes.
Brown, 10 of 12 from the floor, 23 points, 19 of those in this quarter. Trying to get her team on to the second round and a date with the Tennessee Lady Vols. Tennessee taking care of Middle Tennessee State earlier today, despite a great effort from Anastasia Hayes, one of the other top scorers in the nation that happens to be in this Riverwalk region. But Renaya Davis said, hey, I can get in the 20s too. 24 points, 14 boards to lead Tennessee in that one.
So many great scorers in this Riverwalk region. And a rare miss inside for Kirsten Bell. I know she got fouled on the rebound, but it's weird to say this, Jen. I never thought I'd say this about Florida Gulf Coast. Can they keep just trying to get twos? They're down by 10. Michigan is playing so well offensively. I feel like they have to find a way to start making some threes, and I never thought I would say that about FGCU, a team that shoots 35 threes a game. They've only taken 19 today. They've made 6. But again, the Wolverines have done a great job of running them off the line.
The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues today with second-round games on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV, or you can stream them on the March Madness Live app from anywhere. You can always go to ncaa.com for more information. One free throw down for Bell, and then a foul called after the second one bounced out. Florida Gulf Coast already down one player as Emma List fouled out earlier in the quarter. And this is going to put Michigan and Knox Hillman on the free throw line. Foul went against Alyssa Blair, her second.
It's pretty incredible how this game has unfolded, Jen. We've already talked about the Eagles not shooting the three well, but if you had told Carl Smesko, all right, Naz Hillman is going to have 9, maybe 10 points at the end of the third, he would say, great. How many points are we up? But Leah Brown has, as we've talked about, just burst on the scene. 23 points for her, 19 in the third quarter. Overall, I would say Florida Gulf Coast has done an admirable job against Naz Hillman, getting her in foul trouble, limiting her. She's only 3 for 10 from the field. But Michigan has other weapons, and one of those weapons is named Leah Brown.
She has certainly proven that in this quarter, and it is what allowed Michigan to now take their largest lead of the game, up 11, under a minute to play in the third quarter. Florida Gulf Coast needs to hit some threes. Andrea Cecil off the bench can do that.
Every player can shoot the three. Every player on the floor can knock down a triple.
Good defensive effort, and that'll give the Eagles another look.
And this is what we've kept saying about Florida Gulf Coast. Even when Michigan gets a 10-point lead or feels like they're in control, the Eagles hit a timely three, they get a turnover, they just keep hanging around.
Morehouse and Bell has scored nearly all the points this quarter for Florida Gulf Coast. Couldn't add on a few more there. Michigan will launch the final shot. That one doesn't go in, but plenty sure did in that quarter for the Michigan Wolverines, who are 1 quarter away from moving on in this Tennessee Lady Vols on Tuesday. Baylor Bears, the 2 seed in this region, in action over on ABC right now. Florida Gulf Coast gets an open look through the back door for Bell.
FGCU loves that play out of a timeout. They generally throw a lob to Bell, and she alley-oops it right at the rim. But Michigan not ready for that back screen, and Florida Gulf Coast makes them pay. Let's take another look. They really love to do this out of a timeout. And you see that back screen. Brown just couldn't get through. And when you're not ready for the back screen, if you don't have enough communication, to me, that's on Hillman. You've got to let Brown know that that back screen is coming. Easy 2 for Florida Gulf Coast. And as we've said, Jen, it's only a 6-point deficit. With how well Michigan has played offensively, the Eagles are very much in striking distance.
Michigan had such a great third quarter from Leah Brown. That was Haley Brown, 5 on the shot clock. Haley Brown will take the 3. Aaliyah Stanley, too, one of those players that could really make a difference off the bench for Florida Gulf Coast. She had that rebound. She knocked down a couple of threes in the first half. And watch out, because Kirsten Bell is coming for you.
Florida Gulf Coast, they are never out of a game because they can shoot the 3. If you're down 10, if you're down 12, or if you're just down 6, the Eagles are always within range because of how well they can shoot the 3. They haven't shot it that well today, but it looks like they're starting to heat up in the fourth quarter.
Even if I give credit to Bell when she doesn't deserve it, that was Andrea Cecil who hit that 3 for Florida Gulf Coast. Now Michigan coming down the floor, going to the go-to girl, Leah Brown.
Florida Gulf Coast is hitting threes. Leah Brown, a 3-point play the old-fashioned way. And Florida Gulf Coast turning the ball over. Michigan making them pay. This is a great job by Leah Brown to shield the ball with her body, to use her left hand, take that contact, and finish. That is the way you finish on the left-hand side through contact. And look at Naz Hillman hyping up her teammate, saying, Leah Brown, this is your day. This is your game. Brown now with 26 points with 8.5 to go.
Ties her season high. She's 4 points away from 1,000 in her career. We kind of thought she wouldn't get there in this game, Jen, but we were wrong. We are ready in case she does. You know, just glad we wrote that note down, just in case, because she exploded. That's got to be one of the most prolific quarter performances in the NCAA women's tournament, which she did with 19 for Michigan in the third. Johnson. Michigan moving it around. long, but why not let the ball stop right there?
When you're shooting lefty runners around that second hash mark, that's how I know you're feeling it, Jen. That's how I know Leah Brown is feeling it. And remember, Coach Barnes-Arico tried to warn us. She said Leah Brown is from small town Indiana, was a prolific scorer in high school, loves these smaller gyms. Well, she's getting it done in this smaller gym today.
Hillman and Bell were both right there. Bell knew she was not in a great position to try to make a play as Hillman was making Grandma Gail proud, working the rebound. Third foul against Kirsten Bell.
Apparently, Mama Hillman and Grandma Hillman, they rarely yell anything except rebound. They're not yelling, get the ball to Nas. They're not yelling anything like that. They just want Nas to go rebound.
The road to the Frozen Four. Ice is up tonight at 7 Eastern with the NCAA Men's Ice Hockey Selection Special on ESPNU and the ESPN app. You can visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Hillman has been solid at the free throw line. She's a perfect 6 for 6. It has been a quiet day for her so far. But when you're getting a career day from your teammate Leah Brown, that is okay. It is a 9-0 Michigan run. Stanley. Bell, the only one there who had a chance at an offensive rebound in a blue jersey. And now Florida Gulf Coast.
Get through.
Get through and get in the bucket. The Michigan Wolverines are feeling it in the fourth quarter. They have taken their largest lead of the game, and they are fired up. 6 p.m. on ESPN. Our coverage beginning at 5 Eastern. Michigan Wolverines looking good so far. Team that finished 4th in the regular season in the Big Ten. Tyra Cox getting a couple of points, trying to pull Florida Gulf Coast back in this thing. Three-pointer up and good. That is a season high, and three-pointers made for the Wolverines, who came into this game thinking that it was going to be Florida Gulf Coast who would be stealing the show from downtown. How about Michigan?
This is what we love about the tournament, right, Jen? You can prepare, you can look at the numbers, you can say, all right, Florida Gulf Coast, they shoot threes. Michigan, they rebound, they defend. And then individuals have incredible performances, like someone like Leah Brown. And Michigan has shot the ball so well, and they've done a great job of keeping Florida Gulf Coast off that three-point line, running them off of it. And at this point, if you're Michigan, you're saying, okay, Florida Gulf Coast, you can have twos. Like, we're not going to really prevent you from taking twos, but you can't get threes, even though Michigan just let Kirsten Bell put a three up right there. Florida Gulf Coast needs threes at this point.
And Bell has struggled, just 2 of 10 from downtown in this game. She has 25 points, so when I say she struggled, I'm using that in a relative sense. Has not been able to consistently knock down the three. Hillman, meanwhile, working a double-double, has 11 rebounds to go along with 12 points for Michigan.
Another example right there of an incredible catch. You throw the ball up, Naz Hillman is going to catch it. I would have loved to be her teammate. You throw the ball anywhere near her, she is going to get that pass. So you never have a bad pass, Jen. That's the beauty of being Naz Hillman's teammate.
It's a very nice benefit. One of many, as she is just a special player for this Michigan program. Big Ten Player of the Year, second team All-American. Both of those honors, the first in program history. Started things off as a Big Ten Freshman of the Year and has only gone up since then.
This Michigan team is a team that is hungry. We heard Naz Hillman say it in her pregame media availability. They feel like they're underseeded. They feel like they haven't received the respect they deserve because they were missing Leah Brown for 39 days, who has a season-high 28 points today. This Michigan team really looks like they're on a mission.
Danielle Roush had hit the last couple of threes for Michigan. And by the way, she came into this game only having made 4 on the season, but it's been that kind of day. Wolverines have gotten it done inside and out, and I feel like, Kelly, we just have not seen the hashtag raining threes. It's not been there today for Florida Gulf Coast consistently.
And you have to give Michigan all the credit in the world defensively. They have been excellent. They've run Florida Gulf Coast off the line. Even when they haven't, they've been right there on the catch, hand in the face. I haven't been counting, but I probably should have. How many open threes Florida Gulf Coast got today? I'm going to say less than 10. They really have not had any good looks from three, and Michigan has on the other end.
The Wolverines playing some really good basketball. In their last game, they lost 65-49 in the Big Ten tournament quarterfinals to Northwestern. They scored 49 points in that game. It was a season low. Look at what they're doing now. They said they were trying to find themselves still. They were
stage that Michigan is a lot better than a lot of people are giving them credit for, and Leah Brown certainly playing motivated today.
Michigan Wolverines in their 9th NCAA tournament appearance. They have advanced to the second round 5 times in program history. That's the furthest they've advanced, trying to get there again. And let's not forget this team can play some defense.
That's been the difference for me today. I know Leah Brown's been awesome. Naz Hillman has been steady Eddie, 14 points, 12 boards. Akienreh Johnson also has a double-double, 14 points and 10 boards for her. But it's been the Michigan defense, all 5 players collectively playing team defense and being where they need to be to keep Florida Gulf Coast from doing what they do best, which is shooting and making threes.
Reminder that this is a Michigan team playing without their junior starting point guard, Amy Dilk, who did not make the trip due to a medical issue. She is the team leader in assists. She's the team leader in steals. And the Wolverines looking like they're not missing a beat. Some contact.
It's been interesting because it's really Brown. Brown's played a lot of point guard for them. Brown has been almost a point forward. Johnson's handled the ball. They have a lot of very versatile players that can play inside, that can rebound, that have good size, but can also handle the ball.
I was a little ahead of myself. Michigan has not quite yet hit that season high in threes. They're at 8. That's 1 away. That's the same amount of threes that Florida Gulf Coast has taken in this game, but the percentage is better for Michigan. Florida Gulf Coast 8 of 28. Michigan 8 of 20 from 3. Part of the reason they've been able to hang on to this advantage.
They haven't had a single game this year, Jen, where they've made double-digit threes, and Florida Gulf Coast averages 12 a game. So Michigan has shot the ball. It's not only how they defended the 3, but of course how they've shot the 3 as well.
Florida Gulf Coast coming into this game having won 25 in a row. They felt they were underseeded. They felt they belonged in this NCAA tournament, and they have just not been able to get into a flow. Just 7 points in this 4th quarter as Michigan on an 8-0 run over the last nearly 4 minutes.
And let's be clear, they do belong. This Florida Gulf Coast program has been tremendous, and they are very worthy of this NCAA tournament bid. But it's been a difficult afternoon because of how Michigan has played them defensively. And you look at a player like TK Morehouse, who was excellent in the first half. In the second half, Michigan has neutralized her. She's only taken 4 shots. They have forced her to pass the ball. And I think the big difference with that, Jen, is Hillman's been in the game. Morehouse was able to get to the rack and score without Hillman on the floor. Hillman comes back in, and it's a lot more difficult for a 5'3", athletic, amazingly athletic player to score with Hillman at the rim.
The short-term run is 9-0 by Michigan. The longer-term run is 21-2 over the last 6 minutes and 24 seconds. So the Wolverines trying to hang on, advance to round 2 in the Riverwalk region, where they would take on the Tennessee Lady Vols, the 3 seed in this region, who took down another in-state foe, Middle Tennessee State, earlier today.
This is part of why I love the Riverwalk region. I pointed it out on our ACC Network show when we were doing a breakdown of the bracket. I said that region is the toughest, and for so many reasons, but Tennessee had a 3, Kentucky has a 4, Michigan has a 6. It feels like Michigan-Tennessee should be a Sweet 16 matchup, not a round of 32 matchup. So this Riverwalk region is continuing to prove what a talented and stacked region it is.
There's TK Morehouse. And I think you would have probably at the time when you were breaking down that region, Kelly. You add Florida Gulf Coast into the mix as to why this was such a difficult bracket. I mean, this is a team that came in 5th in the nation in scoring, averaging 82 points per game. You know they hit threes like crazy. And it's just been a tough go for them this afternoon. In the back door, Leah Brown was fouled. Why would you love the Riverwalk region? Well, here's a little more detail on what Kelly was talking about. There's that star power in terms of your seeds, 1 through 4. You've got 4 of the top scoring teams in the country. We've got some big-time players of the year, 4 of the 6 major conference players of the year in this region, as well as some pretty sensational freshmen.
I think we may need to change the name of this region to the Superstar region, because you have so many scorers in this region that are incredibly impressive. You've got Alyssa Smith with Baylor, Asia Shepard, Liz Kitley with Virginia Tech. Those two can light it up. Renaya Davis, Tennessee. Of course, Naz Hillman, Leah Brown with Michigan. The list goes on and on. Caitlin Clark. You've got Tiana Monikahia with Syracuse. Paige Beckers with UConn. This region is, I don't want to be biased, Jen. This is my favorite region. I'll just say it. It is my favorite.
It is a pretty incredible region for sure, the way things got drawn up. 1 minute, a little less than, left to play in this first round matchup between Florida Gulf Coast and Michigan. These two teams last met in the 2016 WNIT semifinals, and Florida Gulf Coast got the better of the Wolverines in that game. Does not look like that's going to happen today, as Leah Brown will get to take a rest. 2 points shy of 30 in this game, 2 points shy of 1,000 in her career.
She will most likely get that next game, I would imagine, Jen, and it's her Michigan career high. Her overall career high was 30 when she was at Nebraska. I love the side bump she got from Kim Barnes-Arico, giving her a little side bump as she comes off the floor. Coach putting her body on the line. You know, as us retired athletes get older, you can hurt yourself any which way. So I appreciate Coach giving the little side bump there. And yes, Jen, I'm speaking from experience.
Well, we're safe, I suppose, in our homes. Just don't do anything crazy over there.
You never know. You never know.
Dynamic duo for Michigan, leading the way today. 28 points for Leah Brown. And Naz Hillman with 14, but plenty of other contributions as well. Akienreh Johnson had 15. Haley Brown with 10.
Akienreh Johnson did some really good work defensively as well on Kirsten Bell. I know Bell had 25, but it took her 24 shots to get there. And that is one of the main reasons why Michigan is going to be able to win this game. They made it tough. They made it difficult on Bell, didn't give her any open looks, and made her earn every single one of her points.
This is Michelle Sedor, who's giving her bench some big reasons to smile and cheer. Not so on the bench for Florida Gulf Coast. Kirsten Bell disappointed, came into this game 2-0 in her career against Michigan, as when she played at Ohio State last season, the Buckeyes beat the Wolverines twice, but this time different uniform, different results. Seneca Hackley, Kiki Adams, the redshirt freshman on that play for Florida Gulf Coast. A couple other players off the bench getting some time for Carl Smesko in the waning moments of this one. A lot of smiles for the Michigan Wolverines. It's been a good day for this team. 6th seed in this region, highest seed in school history.
And we should say, too, Jen, an excellent season for Florida Gulf Coast. Any team that finished their season this year should get a trophy, right? And don't come at me with the participation trophy millennial stuff. Every team that finishes should get a trophy, should be rewarded. It's an incredible feat. And you look at FGCU, only one loss this season in this game came with Kirsten Bell on the floor. So they were undefeated when they had her. An incredible year for the Eagles.
But this game, this round, belongs to Michigan. The Wolverines moving on to round 2.